How the devil are we? I'm Matt, and we've got some more Internet Historian. Been a while since I've done one of these. This time it's Balloon Boy, the untold story. Now, I remember seeing a trailer for Balloon Boy. I think I reacted to it. I might have the trailer somewhere. Never seen it though, because I've not seen it pop up on Netflix. And I know it's about a guy or a kid trapped in a balloon that looked like a UFO. Apart from that, I don't know really much about it. I'm probably going to spoil it now by watching this, but why not? So let's go and check it out.
Good evening, I'm Mike Check, and tonight on Unsolved Internet Mysteries, Balloon Boy. Here's the story you probably know. On October 15th...
Genius. Ripping off Unsolved Mysteries. I loved Unsolved Mysteries. They need to bring it back.
2009, Falcon Heene, 6 years old, hopped into a balloon and was carried off into the air. For 2 hours and 60 miles, he traveled across the vistas of Colorado, eventually landing just shy of Denver International Airport. But when they opened up the saucer, there was no boy.
I remember a little bit about that, where he was climbed in, it managed to fly away, they chased it, and then when they found it, he wasn't there. That's the only thing I know about it.
At first it was feared that Falcon had fallen along the way, and a manhunt started to find the boy's body. But after a couple of hours, Falcon wandered into the living room of the family home and confessed that he had been hiding in a box in the attic of the garage. It was one of the biggest news stories and memes of the year.
Right, straight away, without having seen this, obviously, I'm thinking, was he put up to it? Because why would he be hiding in a box in the attic and a balloon just so happens to have got away that everyone believed he was in it?
During the event, Balloon Boy was also the most searched term on Google. But it was an expensive game of hide and seek. Up to 50 rescue workers were involved, including 2 military helicopters, police, the Colorado National Guard, the Federal Aviation Administration, ambulances, firefighters, and the balloon drifted so close to the airport that a bunch of flights had to be rerouted.
Jesus, I didn't realize all this went on just for a kid in a balloon. I'm not saying it's, it shouldn't, but I'm just saying it's a lot of resources for a kid in a balloon.
The total cost of the incident was estimated at $2 million. Press flocked to the Heene home, and the family gave an interview on CNN. And then, this happened.
He's asking Falcon, did you hear us calling your name at any time? You did?
You did?
Why didn't you come out?
You guys said that we did this for the show.
Oh, the kid has dumped you right in it. You guys did this for a show. I mean, straight away, I'll let this play out, but boom. I'm going to see the reaction of the parents in a minute. Yeah, so let's play it for a minute. Oh, it cut!
Police and the press were quick to change angle from accident to publicity stunt. The mother and father were charged, and they pleaded guilty.
Right. Absolute fucking scumbags to drag your kids into this. I know the kids were never in danger because he was hiding in a box in an attic. But to drag your kids into something like this, which is fraud, for what? So they can sell the story to the papers? Scumbags.
So that's the story. Or is it? To this day, Richard Heene, the father, adamantly claims it was never a hoax, just an experiment gone wrong.
I'm sorry. Just fucking on up to it. You've already pleaded guilty. Don't come out with that gumph.
And after doing my own research, I'm starting to believe him. This is the story you probably don't know. Let's take a closer look at Richard Heene. He's an interesting guy. He likes to do science and chase storms.
Getting into the path of the oncoming tornado.
He is also an inventor.
Hi, I'm inventor Richard Heene, and boy do I love my truck! That's why I would never permanently mount toolboxes or a lumber rack on the back. No! I'm gonna use my pickup to pick up hot chicks! Yes!
Those poor kids.
Yes! 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 Ah! Yeah! Heene,
Got 3 kids.
Duty.com!
He's obviously nuts and a bit of a human meme.
I just invented perpetual motion.
And what about the rest of the family? Youngest, Falcon; eldest, Bradford; his wife, Mayumi, originally from Japan; and middle child, Ryo. The family appeared on the hit reality TV show Wife Swap twice, and it was their behavior on the show that made the police and the press suspicious. Before we break down the case against
You got kids.
Richard Heene, I'm going to show you raw footage from the liftoff. Now, first thing, did you see it? Helium canisters. 3. They're big and they're expensive, and it's much more helium than they would need for a one-time hoax, but the right amount for ongoing experiments.
Right, well, surely, if you're going to have something that big flying up with helium, you're going to pose a risk to FAA regulations, because that thing could collide with an aircraft.
This is a purpose-built structure for Richard's experiments. Seems elaborate for a hoax.
Well, it is an hoax. Otherwise, why would you make it in the shape of a UFO?
A high-voltage sticker, because Richard really was testing electronics on board.
You hold on, Brad. Got it? Record.
Yeah.
This is a release cord, not a tether, by the way.
One.
Whoa!
Okay.
Probably not the optimal place to release it. I mean, look how many trees are around there.
One of the loose tethers. Now, Richard gets mad, and it really doesn't feel like acting. Either he genuinely is losing his temper over the loss of his balloon, or he's deliberately making himself out to look like an asshole.
Spider-Man! You turn it out, Jesus!
Fake. Fake as bollocks. Do you know why it's fake? Because the camera is there, and they all decided to get in front of the camera for the kid to turn around and go, Dad, Dad, Falcon, or, I don't know, fucking Screaming Eagle, or whatever he's called, is in the balloon.
The kid sure is doing a good job of acting too, and remember that they would only have one take because there's only one balloon.
I told you to tie down tethers!
Bollocks.
No, you know what it is? You never listen to what I say!
Right, so he's screaming, Dad, Dad, Falcon's in the ship, Falcon's in the ship, Dad, Dad, Falcon's in the ship. And all he's bothered about is the tethers. Now, the reason he's doing that is because he's trying to make out like, oh, it's genuine. We didn't mean to release it. Honestly, we didn't mean to release it. The wife forgot to put the tethers on. Honestly. If you look how short them tethers are, the tethers wouldn't have even allowed it to lift off the ground.
God!
Falcon's in the ship!
Son of
Falcon's in there!
Where?
In the ship!
I mean, is that the way you talk to your kids as well? Even if it's acting? Why would you make yourself out to be a complete and utter douchebag?
A fourth canister.
He was just here!
No, he's in there! No, man!
But here's another weird thing. This photo from the police shows that Richard's electrical equipment for readings and experiments is still on board. Why? Why let your stuff get smashed out in a field somewhere?
So it's genuine. So when it comes down, you can at least make the case of, oh, honestly, I thought it was going to be tethered because I was doing electrical experiments. If there were none of that on board, then you would have said, yeah, it's bollocks, you released a balloon. You've got no other reason for releasing it.
Now that you've seen the liftoff, let's look at the case against the Heenes. That the balloon couldn't have lifted Falcon. He called the news.
The
Live slip-up on television. A confession and a guilty plea. Pretty airtight, right? Nope. Let's start from the top. Could this balloon lift a boy? The balloon is 17 feet wide by 6 feet tall. With this we can figure out the surface area and the volume. We also know the construction materials. Plastic, alfoil, cardboard, thin plywood, duct tape, wire, strings, tether. The balloon's total volume is over 900 cubic feet. That gives us a lift potential of 65 pounds, minus the weight of the craft, and Falcon only weighed 37 pounds. The police weighed him. That gives you enough lift potential to raise the boy with another 11 to 12 pounds to spare.
Okay, so technically it could lift a kid, but it weren't designed to lift a kid. It was just designed to lift electronics.
Next point. You're about to hear the 911 call. The media and police both said that Richard called the news first, then 911. That was a lie. The phone records show that he called the FAA first, because he knew they could track the balloon better. Then they told him to call 911 and he immediately did so. When he did, the 911 operator put him on hold. When taken off hold, Mayumi picks up the phone.
Okay. And so it was an experimental plane?
It's a flying saucer.
And that's gone too, right?
I'm sorry?
How long is the flying
Why's she on the phone?
saucer gone as well?
We gotta get my son.
For fuck's sake. Pardon the French. But, right, you need to be clear with the authorities. Right, we need help. I've contacted the FAA so that they could track it, but I need assistance. We need an helicopter in the air. It was released 10 minutes ago. We need to be really clear. I think my son's on board. He's X years old. It's made of aluminum foil. It's shaped like a UFO. It's about, 17 feet in diameter, 6 feet tall. It was heading east, You put her on the phone and it's like, what? How come my son? What the? I'm not trying to be like a racist doing accents here, but the reality is you need to get someone clear on the phone.
Okay. Hang on just 1 second. Don't hang up, okay? Just a minute.
They get put on hold for a second time.
Ma'am, does it have any kind of a tracking device or anything on it?
No.
Okay, where was the saucer? Was it in the backyard?
Yeah, here, take that. Hello?
Yes, is this Richard?
Yes, it is.
Was the flying saucer in the backyard?
Yes.
Okay, it obviously has electronics where he can know how to work it. He gets it up off the air, off the ground.
No.
He doesn't know it operates. I mean, it's got electronics on it. Is it supposed to, fly around? It's full of helium, so it can't operate. Just to be clear, it's a balloon. It's full of helium. It's got electronics on board, but they're not to control the craft. It's just going to blow with the wind.
Oh, he doesn't know how it operates.
So we are sure that he's in that.
Yeah, we looked everywhere, and then my son just said because we had it tethered, it wasn't supposed to take off.
So there's no electronics on it. There's no tracking device, right?
No.
Okay, hang on just a second.
By this point, they've now
Fake.
spent 20 minutes with the police and they've been put on hold for a third time. So it was no wonder that they called the news and asked for a helicopter. Next point. What did Falcon have to say about the answer he gave on CNN?
Well, what happened was, this Chinese reporter walked up to me. He asked me if I could show him how he got in the attic for his TV shows. So I said, okay. And then after that, another person asked me, so what happened about this balloon thing? I was like this. I did it for the show. I said that because I thought he was talking about the Chinese guy.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's not a great excuse, but it's within the realm of possibility. On the day of the Heene's arrest, The police issued a warrant to take phones, computers, documents, cameras, everything they could. And what did they find? Nothing. Nada. They interviewed Falcon, Brad, Rio, each several times without parental supervision. Again, what did they get? Nothing. So the police had nothing. That's not great for the prosecution.
Yeah. I don't know.
So the police would need a confession. They tried Richard, but he wasn't admitting to anything. So they pressed Mayumi, and she spilled the beans. But hold on, because her confession sucks. English is not her first language. Police arranged the meeting under false pretenses, so she didn't have a lawyer with her. And also, it doesn't make any sense. She said in the confession that they built the craft only 2 weeks prior. Interesting. Here's Sherry from Wife Swap.
There was one point where I had to hold the spaceship and clean it and carry it, and Falcon ran into the spaceship and hid in there.
Built 2 weeks prior? Well, Sherry just said that she was cleaning it during filming, which was 8 months ago.
Are you suspicious of him, and if so, why?
Knowing him, I couldn't imagine that he would tell the whole country that his son was up in the balloon.
She also speaks about Falcon.
What's Falcon like?
Literally is the type of child that you would actually see that would go into the spaceship. So it wasn't surprising that maybe Richard might have thought he was in there.
So that leaves a big question.
I don't know about you. I mean, well, let me know where you stand, obviously, in the comments, but you plead guilty because you probably get advised by your attorney that if you plead guilty, you'll probably get misdemeanor, you might have a fine, you won't do prison time, etc. But if you go to trial and you get found guilty, you could do prison time and the kids could get taken into custody and stuff. So I can understand why you would
pick on Richard Heene.
I'm being persecuted, I think, for the benefit of Alderton. His term runs out in 2011. He's probably going to run for governor, who knows, but not off my back.
How dare Richard Heene accuse an honest man like Sheriff Alderton of... Oh. Richard said that he was taking it to court. He would not plead guilty. He would not confess. So over the next month, the police applied pressure, bringing up topics such as Mayumi's citizenship status and federal charges. It was lose-lose for Richard. Potential felonies, the cost of court and lawyers, his wife could be deported. The story was #1 on Google and the press had already decided it was a hoax, so any jury would be stacked against him.
I fucking hate it when like media outlets do that, or Saturday Night Live. Let's take the piss out of this, but you've got an actual family who are being impacted by this. And it's like, yeah, just let's take the piss out of this. I've got my writers, all 20 of them in the back, writing jokes for me, and I'll make out like I'm some sort of comedy genius.
What?
It was a hoax.
Yeah, we know.
Guilty or innocent, this plea was the only sensible choice he had. The Heenes were handed a $36,000 fine and a short term in jail, and Richard would have to formally apologize in court before a judge and the police.
I'm very, very sorry. And I want to apologize to all the rescue workers out there and the people that got involved in the community.
That looks like acting as well, to be honest. But to be fair, if you think you're innocent and you've been forced to apologise for something that you think you didn't do, you would kind of phone it in, wouldn't you? But that just looks like he's going over the top with it.
Lastly, despite poring over dozens of interviews over the span of 8 years, I have not been able to find one instance where Richard has been caught in a lie. There's evidence of the police lying, evidence of the media lying. Richard's story has not changed. So where does that leave us really? One piece of evidence. This interview, the testimony of a sleep-deprived 6-year-old who's not even really listening to the question. That's it. Those 10 words are the main substance of the case against Richard Heene. When I first started researching this story, I thought it would be a fun chance to take a few cheap shots at some liar from Colorado. But now I'm not so sure. I'm not saying for certain that this isn't a hoax, but I think there is more here than what was decided in the press and by memes in October of 2009.
Interesting stuff. I'm going to have to go and watch the Netflix documentary now. The police lying, unforgivable. Media, they're always just going to spin anything however they want. The fact they stuck to his story all these years, I can understand why someone would plead guilty, because you get told if you don't, it's going to be worse for you. So I understand that, if I'm honest. But $36,000 fine. It was $2 million it cost for the entire operation. So in some respects, they're guilty anyway. They're guilty of negligence. So say if on face value the story's true, they're guilty of negligence because they put that UFO in the air that could have been a disaster, basically, if that collided with an aircraft, right? Caught on radar or something. Something's like flights getting cancelled, like they said. So it would have cost quite a bit of money anyway. But obviously the whole premise was that there was a kid trapped in there, and then they had to search for the kid because they thought he fell out somewhere. It's a bit of a weird one because what was never explained there is the kid said, "Oh, he crawled into the balloon," which he obviously didn't. So one of the kids were lying. He crawled into the balloon. He was on camera. He was like, Dad, he crawled into the balloon. The other kid was hiding in a box in the attic, right? And the only reason you would do that is if you were trying to hide whilst they were releasing the UFO. At no point did it come out and say, well, the kid mistakenly thought he crawled into the balloon, or they did that as a hoax to the parents. Like, he went, "Oh, you go and hide and I'll pretend that you climbed in the balloon." It never came out and said, "Oh, yeah, we did that as a joke on Mum and Dad." So that's why I'm still on the side of, I think it was all a massive hoax. And the fact he's coming out doing interviews and things, it still means he's probably getting paid for those interviews. So the fact he's keeping his story doesn't really mean much. Let me know what you think anyway. But it's interesting. I'm going to check out the Netflix documentary. Yeah, that's all for this one. You take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.